Joining me now is one of our experts on the Middle East and particularly Iran. She's from Iran herself. She hosted a lot of programming for us over the weekend, did a fabulous job, and she joins us now. She's on with us each and every day, 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern at worldviewtube.com. Anni Cyrus. Anni, welcome back to the broadcast tonight. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me back, Brandon.
Let me go to a clip right away of the Crown Prince, Pahlavi. Here is the Crown Prince.
You don't want to be king.
I'm not running for office. I'm not.
Are you saying in this interview that you wouldn't lead Iran?
That's a different thing. They trust me as a transitional leader, not as the future king or future president or future whatever. I'm totally focused on my mission in life, which is let me bring the country to a point that they can make that free choice. That will be enough for me having said mission accomplished.
You imagine peace with Israel?
Of course. In modern history, Iran actually gave refuge to Jews that were escaping the Nazis during the Second World War, giving them refuge and sanctuary in Iran. The strategic importance of having a partnership with Israel is critical.
What are the principles on which you would build a new Iran?
I think what today unites us are 4 core principles that I think is the subject of how we can work together towards that end. Number 1 is Iran's territorial integrity. Number 2 is the clear separation of religion from state, which is a prerequisite to democracy, and we paid the price understanding what it means to live under a religious dictatorship. Number 3 is, of course, equality of all citizens under the law and individual liberties. And most importantly, the process, a democratic process to allow the people to elect and decide what their future system of governance should be.
What would happen to the nuclear weapons program?
I think it should be totally dismantled. I don't think Iran has any need to pursue a military weaponizing of the nuclear program.
All right, there we go. Anni Cyrus joins us. He's ready to go, and he's been ready to go. And yet I'm hearing reports that MEK representative and mouthpieces have been all over Fox News this weekend. President Trump has said the people we could talk, at least that's what I read reports, he said, people we could talk to, negotiate with, 2 or 3 down or dead, that could be in the new government. Well, but we don't want those people, and we don't want MEK. And the former 18-year fighter in MEK, the warrior Ray, he told us MEK would be worse than the regime they have now. Bring some clarity to this and where things are going, and what are you seeing that encourages you or concerns you?
Let's start with the 3 new leaders that President Trump talked about, and almost every outlet from individual posting to broadcasting networks got it wrong. There was no supreme leader introduced to be killed. The face that's flying across social media, first of all, he's not dead. Let's make sure we don't put an eliminated tag on it. He was the picked representation for the temporary government of Iran. Now, based on current constitution, when the supreme leader is dead, until the new supreme leader is placed, there is a temporary government of 3 people. The president, who is still alive, the head of judiciary system, who is still alive, and an appointed representation from the Guardian Council. The picture you see flying around is him. That's to just clarify there was no new supreme leader who was killed. And even the 3 members I just talked, all 3 of them are still alive as of right now. That's for that. They're not the new government, however, they're transitional. Also, something we're not hearing on our side of media is that as of this morning Iran time, which would have been last night here time, they handed over power to IRGC. So as of right now, Iran is not the Islamic Republic of Iran. It is the military IRGC Iran, which we witnessed also during the 12 Days War. Now, I think this is, by the way, I don't want to necessarily go back to what you were saying with your guests, Jason and Aaron, but I want to bring it up. This is why today we hear the possibility of boots on the ground, because we're not facing the regime anymore. We're facing the military now. in power of the country. That is most likely why we're saying that it's not off the table. Because when IRGC is in power, the scenario changes a little bit, not dramatically, but it does change a little bit. Another thing I want to address about that, I agree with something Aaron hinted at. Let me dive into that, Brandon, for a minute. I understand the mindset of being American and thinking Iraq, Afghanistan. But if you look back, when we went to Afghanistan or Iraq, in the history of their current regimes, they never had uprisings. They never condemned the regime. They never came on the streets dying to get their freedoms back. But we have witnessed that in Iran, not just the last 60 days, but in the last 47 years. So when you have the people of the country on your side, even if it's boots on the ground, you have their support. The second most important thing, over 60% of Iranians in Iran are fluent in English. Do they have accents? Yes, but they're fluent in English. Therefore, they can directly work with our military to get it done. Majority of Iranians know the back streets and back alleys better than the Islamists. So the battlefield is somewhat fair. I'm not saying there won't be any casualties, but put aside your imagination and pictures of Iraq and Afghanistan. This is going to be a very different scenario. And yes, I am still saying we should stay out of it as America. Israel got this under control. However, now we're involved. It's not going to be what you witnessed in Iraq. It's not going to be what you witnessed in Afghanistan. It's not going to be never ending. I don't give it more than 4 weeks until this is over. Now, MEK. MEK can try. Brandon, Fox News can take the check, bring MEK on air. Everybody else can do it. But I guarantee you, MEK will not last more than 10 hours inside Iran, unless our soldiers protect them, which I highly doubt we will do that. Otherwise, MEK stands no chance in Iran. Here's what concerns me. What Aaron said and what I've seen on the reports. I don't see it necessary for us to have to target 100,000 targets. That's overkilling. It is overkilling. We don't need to do that. Either Israel or America, it doesn't matter. Here's what's very positive. Yes, Crown Prince Pahlavi is ready to go. His team is ready to go. And no matter who tries to do, the moment the regime is over, Iranians are going to bring him back no matter what. That's a statement we all know about. And they do have the means to do it, Crown Prince Pahlavi team and the Iranian people. So that's the positive side. That's one of the reasons we're kind of not talking about MEK anymore, because we are at the solid grounds of they stand no chance, regardless of how much money they spend to get endorsement from Republicans or get on all the conservative outlets. Fox isn't the only one. Newsmax is almost full coverage of MEK nowadays. So is Matt Gaetz. Every other 30-minute, Matt Gaetz has one of the MEK people on his show. But none of them matter today. They don't. Sorry, that was a very long answer.
Annie, no, that's fine. That's great. We need it. Let's go to ask you about the same thing we asked the other gentleman about. The guy that killed two people in Austin on Saturday night and injured 14 to 17, wearing a shirt, a sweatshirt saying "Property of Allah," had the Iranian flag underneath that. This is clearly related. I'm tired of the newscasters using this phrase "lone wolf." That's a stupid phrase. He was directed, encouraged, he was incited, he was trained, he was discipled by someone. No man is an island. This is not a lone wolf. I wish people would stop using that phrase. Someone taught him this worldview, encouraged this worldview, enhanced this worldview of Islam, but the media can't ignore it. How much more of this do you think we're going to see here in America as DHS and FBI are raising their threat level and putting out memos on this? And certain cities where we know we have Jewish populations have raised some of their security.
Well, let's prove your claim here. The shooter of Austin was born in Senegal. If you haven't heard of it, it's a very small country in Africa, with heritage ties to Kenya. If you haven't heard of Kenya, it's one of the main recruiting jihadist countries in Africa.
It's where Obama was born, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, correct. Now, the shooter was also, interesting enough, a Sufi Shia Muslim. If you forgot the word Sufi, your audience, that is where Hediye found the most moderate Islam form that she later come to realize it's the same Islam, no difference. So we have a Sufi Shia Muslim born in Senegal with ties to Kenya who came to America and become a naturalized citizen. He was not a convert. He was not born here. He wasn't even radicalized. He grew up in it, literally grew up in it. And that's just to prove so if anybody out there says, oh, Brennan's making things up or blowing it out of proportion, here's the background on the killer. Now, as far as the lone wolf, this country has been facing the threat of jihadists since September 11th. We still haven't managed to call it what it is. Well, me and you have, but our government still fails to call it what it is. They call it a potential terrorism instead of flat out saying it was absolutely a jihadist act. We just said the background, and inside his car, they found a Quran. On his social media, all you see is his invitation to come to Allah, serve Muhammad. So as long as we don't call it what it is, which is jihad, we're not going to get the results we need. And the threat has always been there. Are we on higher alert for it today because of what's happening in Iran and what happened to Khamenei? Absolutely. But as long as our government, especially FBI, is not getting ahead of this, we're going to always have this threat, Brennan. There is no one to be blamed except our own government, specifically FBI. They have the list of the 17,000 jihadists with direct ties to ISIS and Al-Qaeda who came to America during Biden administration after the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Why are they not being arrested? Furthermore, the 1,700 that were arrested, why are they not deported? So we got to hold them accountable.
Here's a headline from the New York Post. Texas mass shooter had Iranian flag, which we know about, under his shirt where he said property of Allah. He had that flag shirt underneath that. But it also says he had photos of the Islamic Republic leaders in his home, Annie.
Yes, he also had a devotional video on his, Instagram, where he actually, it's an audio only, but funny enough, he combines 3 different languages in that video. But in that video, he did a full sermon mourning of the death of Khamenei, reminding everybody of what a great leader he was and how they need to stay with Allah because this is all happening as well of Allah. He was definitely a praiser and supporter of Khamenei. I have watched the video myself. I have translated the video myself. So yes, he was very heartbroken. Now, I should say in that video, he does not say anything about taking revenge, but he did mourn the loss of a great leader of Shia movement.
All right, give us any more information.
Sorry, go ahead.
Give us any more information you think we need as to where we have been, where we're going before we wrap.
Sure. Okay, so quickly, the situation is way better than what you're hearing here in America. We the strikes, let's say, when I say we, U.S., Israel strikes, way ahead of a schedule. 120 besieged buildings have been taken out. Besieged are the places where all the morality police are stationed to do the crackdowns and arrest. Here's another amazing news. 2 of the strikes on in an area in Iran forced the IRGC to have to release prisoners from their prison. Every prison, that was one of the main prisons they were holding the protesters from the uprising, the recent revolution. So their hands were tied. They had nowhere to move them. So they released all the political prisoners from that prison. So again, I'm saying all of this because we're not hearing, I'm sure nobody reported that in America yet. They are forcing the hands of IRGC to pick a side. IRGC is getting to a point where they have to pick, do they fight the outside world war, or are they going to fight the Iranian people? And that's why Crown Prince Pahlavi put out a message today in Farsi saying, stand by. The day of call to action is way closer than we were expecting. I know a lot of people think I say these because I'm Iranian. No, I'm saying this because I have tracked this up close from day one. And I don't mean the war. I mean last year, start of 12 days war until today. I've not missed a beat, and I can tell you this is not optimistic result. They are getting to where the Iranian people be able to overthrow this regime, but we have to keep pressure on them. I understand everybody's concern. I understand your point of view. I respect your opinion. However, there is no, we dropped enough bombs, let's come home. U.S. has that option. We can come back now. But stop hating on Bibi, stop hating on IDF, stop calling IDF evil. They are doing what nobody would do for 47 years. They're not just freeing Iranian people, they're freeing themselves, they're securing stability in the region, and they're helping Western countries gain momentum to stop terrorism in their own countries.
Excellent. Excellent report, Annie. LiveUpToFreedom.com, LiveUpToFreedom.substack.com. Annie hosted 2 panels for us. One on I did Saturday morning for 2 hours. She took over Saturday afternoon and Sunday. I was on those panels, but could not join on camera. I'm not even supposed to be here this week, folks. I'm supposed to be celebrating my 35th wedding anniversary. In addition to that, war breaks out, but then I got this herniated C5, C6, C7 in the neck. And my doctor's like, you really need to stay off the computer for a week, quit sitting there doing this and looking down. This is what's created this over many years. And so I'm supposed to be taking it easy all week, but not happening. I need to be on here a little bit this week. Annie's going to sit in again for me some this week, Sharam Hadian. But she did a fine job hosting those 2 panels Saturday and Sunday. And you'll find them at worldviewtube.com. Her website, of course, is, I said, liveuptofreedom.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. May I also remind you guys to make sure you have our app, worldviewtube.com/apps. Get our app for iPhone or Android, and be sure you choose to get a push notification. How many did we add? You said we added about, 700 new push about 700 new people getting the push notifications over the weekend. So what that means is if there's breaking news and we're going live, you're going to get a push notification that's going to pop up on your phone telling you, hey, Worldview Tube's going live. A lot of folks are like, oh, you guys were already going for a while and I just happened to turn it on over there. And how can I find out when you're going live? Get our app. Make sure you enable the push notifications when you download it. Full details on getting our free apps for iPhone or Android at worldviewtube.com/apps, worldviewtube.com/apps. But Annie, thank you for all the wonderful work you're doing.
No, thank you, Brandon, for opening your platform to us.
By the way, we got an email from someone today saying you guys called it. You said that there would be terror cells alerted in the U.S. We're not so interested in getting those things right. I wish we were wrong. Do you anticipate more terror attacks in the U.S. over the next few weeks?
I always do this. It depends. What does it depend on? If Saudi Arabia genuinely does join this fight and start the war against Iran, absolutely, we will see major comebacks. If Saudi Arabia stays back, we will see more, but not as much as I'm expecting to see. And since I said that, can I explain? You said something of, they're killing each other now, which is a curious, interesting point of its own. Let me explain this. The reason Iran starts attacking their neighbors and fellow Muslims, first of all, don't forget, we are during the month of Ramadan. In Quran, during Ramadan, whatever good deed you do is triple rewarded, and whatever sin you commit is bigger sin than it would in any other month. Every single one of those countries joined Trump's World of Peace inaugurational meeting. They signed papers, they signed agreements. That in Islam is what they were warned on Quran 551. Oh, you who have believed, do not take Jews and Christians as your allies. If you do, you're one of them. So justification for IRGC is that they were punishing the Muslims who committed the ultimate sin of siding and taking Christians and Jews as their allies. Trump being the Christian, of course, Israel the Jew, land of the Jew. So that's how they're justifying it. It's not that they have turned against, well, technically it is, but they're not attacking those countries because they don't know better. They're punishing them. They're making a statement. And in return, of course, most of the Gulf countries are retaliating, which is number one rule of Islam, eye for an eye. So if Saudi Arabia does actually go to war with Iran, we'll see a heavy attack of Shia attacks here in America. If not, until the revenge for Khamenei is over, we'll probably see few of them.
LiveUpToFreedom.com, LiveUpToFreedom.substack.com. Thank you as always, Annie.
Thank you, Brandon. Be safe.
You too, my friend. Before we go to Colonel Rob Manus, don't forget our national conference is coming up Friday night, October 23rd, Saturday, October 24th. Something we've not done in our 22 years of holding the national conference. Now, we've been holding Worldview Weekends since 1996. No, January of 93. How many years is that, Logan? January of 1993. I should say February of 1993. February 1993 is when we held our first Worldview Weekend, February 1993. So we've been doing Worldview Weekends, what is that, 33 years? For a long time. We started our national conference, though, where we started holding a national event 22 years ago. I'm going to do the math on that. 2026, subtract 1993. Yeah, 33 years. You got it right. But in that 22 years, we've never made it free. Just renting the building Friday night and Saturday, the Waukesha Expo Center, is going to be over 10 grand. But we're going to make it free, take a frugal offering a couple times, and then, of course, raise the money throughout the year. So if you appreciate all the free radio, free conferences, free TV, free articles, everything we're doing for free, we need your support to keep pushing it out for free for those who can't afford it, versus putting it all behind a paywall. WorldviewFoundation.com, WorldviewFoundation.com. To get your free tickets. Now, they're free, but you got to have a ticket. We don't overfill the building. WorldviewTube.com/events, WorldviewTube.com/events. Last year we were there, we had over 1,000 people, standing room only. That was just me, Dr. Woods, and Aaron. This year we're bringing a whole bunch of people with us. It's going to fill up fast. Get your free tickets, WorldviewTube.com/events.